Plaintiff Sherry Litson says the defendant is her son, and despite the fact that he's been in trouble several times with the law, she never gave up on him. Sherry claims her son was even locked up in a juvenile detention center for a while, and she's suing him today for unpaid loans and the cost of a plane ticket. Defendant Christopher Litson admits that he was in and out of trouble as a kid, but says because Sherry was a single mother who was always working, he was basically on his own. Christopher admits that he borrowed money from Sherry, but feels she's suing him prematurely.
Tell me what happened.
Okay. Well, it really saddens me that I have to be here in this kind of situation, because I really do love my son, but this unfortunate money thing has interfered. And, I've tried to always be there for Chris, and I've been even married his dad 2 different times, trying to make the marriage work.
What happened the first time?
I caught him in bed with my ex-girlfriend.
What happened the second time?
The second time I got the divorce for me.
You got caught.
No.
You said you got it for you.
I just realized that it just wasn't going to work.
Oh, okay. How was he as a child?
As a child,
And a young adult?
A young adult, he was in trouble quite a bit when he was a teenager. He was stealing motorcycles. He'd take my car in the middle of the night, and then I wouldn't find out about it till the next day. And
often he do these things?
Yeah.
You ever been to juvenile or jail?
Yes, he was locked up in juvie for quite a while, but I always still stood by him because he's my son, and that's just the way I was raised.
What did you do to display your dissatisfaction or any type of tough love?
I'd take all of his keys away or from his cars.
All right.
And I tried to do the best I could. And being a single parent, back then we didn't have as much help as we do nowadays.
And you did right.
Yeah.
My mother stopped cooking for me at 14.
Boy,
wouldn't cook nor buy clothes for me as of age 14.
That's worse than keys.
Yeah, that's worse than keys. You're right. That's why I've been slim most of my life.
Yeah.
She called the police and tell them I'm probably out there committing a crime. And to protect the public, they should go and find me.
She was very strict.
I'm just telling you. Give me some insight. Sir, what do you want to tell me? Your mom said you were troubled as a young man.
You know, with her working and doing stuff, I was pretty much on my own and, out to do my own thing. And
was your father in your life at all?
Very randomly. Pretty much from, like she said, she got divorced the second time when I was 2. It didn't last that long, obviously, both times. So he wasn't really around.
We were almost 5.
I've looked at a lot of the things regarding the effects of young men in particular who don't have fathers in their life to teach them manhood. 70% have contact with the criminal justice system. So, fathers, it's important that you be in the lives of your children, particularly your sons. Go ahead.
Okay. I had even moved Chris, and my daughter moved away, and trying to make sure that Chris ended up, not like his father as much. And I even took him fishing and, trying to do fatherly things, and it helped a little bit.
Trying to teach him a little manhood.
Yeah.
And it helps a little. That's about it. A woman can't teach a boy manhood. It's like I can't teach a girl how to be a woman.
Right.
I have no idea. I have no clue.
It does. It takes
Didn't
two.
have sisters. I have no clue. The loans and the plane, what happened here?
Well, in about 2006, my ex-husband, his father, had gotten sick with lung cancer, and he passed away.
Sorry to hear.
And in February, it was in February of 2007 that my ex-husband's dad had died. And I ended up having to loan Chris the $320 for the airfare so he could come.
For the service?
Yeah. His dad had died in December of 2006, and Chris inherited his house from his estate. And it was in badly need of repair before he could even fix it. To sell it.
Live in it.
Yeah, so I had loaned him $2,500. I've got my receipts here, and then $500 cash. to pay the contractor.
When did he promise to repay?
Well, he planned on getting the house fixed and then selling the house. Well, time went by, and he ended up having to take the contractor to court because the guy quit working on it.
You think he's had the money since that time to pay?
Yes, he has. He got a settlement off his grandfather's estate to where he could have paid some
Cash?
of the money. Yes. I even asked him about making payments and trying to work with me
What did he
to
say?
get some of it. And he said he'd talk about it to me later.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a lot later.
Yeah. a lot later.
You ready to talk about it today?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank goodness. 2 years later, you're ready to talk about it.
I even have a letter here.
Let me see the letter. Sir?
Well, first I'd like to give you a little background,
All right.
and also to tell you this is my second time on the show, unfortunately. Last time I was here as the plaintiff. I had a roommate that I had paid a deposit and first month rent for him. He went out of state to go do a DJ job in Tennessee from California, and 2 years later I found him back in California. He stayed in Tennessee for a year and a half. So
You should know what it's like, sir, to not be paid what you're owed. Go ahead, tell me what
sir.
happened.
Since I was 17, I've been living on my own. She left the state. I'm now married. I have 3 kids.
Good.
So it's, a lot of responsibility with that, when it comes to priorities.
All right.
Like you say,
kids,
family's my priority.
A lot of court dates, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of court dates. And like with my mom, like she said, it's been a lot of, she said she moved around, to make it better for me. But really the moving around, I think, made me get in more trouble and made things more difficult. Moving from state to state. Example, in 6th grade, I went to 3 different schools in 3 different states. Stuff like that, it just
sure, it's
goes.
very tough.
And like with the money thing with her, it's like any penny that I get from her, she has a list that she wants to write down every single penny that I've ever.
Since what age?
33.
Right. When do you expect her to stop giving you money?
No, well, it's never been a thing of giving. With the giving thing, it's with my sister. She's always willing to, every day basically. If my sister wants,
your sister?
No.
30 years old.
No, I do help my daughter.
A lot more than you help him?
And he's only been back in Oklahoma for the past 2 years.
All right. Well, you've been on the run. No wonder she's.
No, I'm not. I've been taking care of my own self with my family.
It's harder to help him when he lives clear in California and I live in
That's a
Oklahoma.
good point. Tell me about this instance.
As she said, in December of 2006, my father passed away. I was living in California at the time. The property is in Oklahoma City. Her brother found the contractor for me, my uncle, and I hired him to come in to do the work, and he wanted $2,500 up front to start the work and to buy stuff. I went on and paid him, borrowed the $2,500 from my mom to pay him, and additionally, he ended up 3 weeks later calling me to ask me for an additional $500 right before Christmas. So I called her and asked her, "Could you do me a favor and loan me $500 more?"
What about the ticket?
That was in between my dad passing away and hiring the contractor.
Why haven't you repaid this money?
Well, the $300, I just really.
All right. What about the $3,000?
The $3,000, I told her I'd pay when I sold or refinanced my house.
And that was in 2006?
That was in 2007 when I borrowed the money.
Have you paid her anything?
No, sir, I have not.
You haven't been able to pay $100, $200?
No, that whenever like I said, I have 3 kids and a wife. I was using all my money for bills.
If you haven't sold the house or what have you, 20 years from now, do you think you can just keep saying, I told her, Your Honor, I'd pay her when I sold the house? Do you
No,
think
sir.
that's right?
No, sir. But like she said, I got a settlement for my grandfather. With the money from that, the first contractor had basically just demolished the house, wrecked the inside, split and took the cash. I had to hire another contractor and buy all new supplies, and I spent my money to do
See, what
that.
folks need to know is that when you don't put a specific timetable on an agreement, particularly a loan, then it is a reasonable amount of time is the expectation. And in this case, 3 years, that's been a reasonable amount of time for you to repay something. And seeing that you have not, and She still wants her money now, right?
Right.
And you have to pay her now, sir. $3,320. Good luck to you.
Well, next time we do a loan between each other, we'll make sure and set an actual date.
I understand I owed her money, and she always helps everybody else out. I figured, hey, why shouldn't she be able to help me out too? You know, she's my mom. I'll always love her, and you know, we'll always have a
Yeah,
relationship.
always love
So,
him.
all right, give mom a hug.